scary stories. I hope you enjoy. My family at one time volunteered at a veterans homeless shelter quarterly. It was with a group of people from our church. We had gone several times. I had a small baby that I was wearing on my body with a wrap while serving the food, and I would occasionally mingle and talk with the veterans while they ate. One evening, I was speaking to two men at a table, and one asked me where I lived. I didn't take it to mean anything other than the general town I was from, which I told him. It was nowhere near where the shelter was. But then, the other man at the table, who I had never seen before, looked at the other guy and told him exactly how to get to my house. He told him where I lived. Then he looked at me and he said, "I used to live on the hill across the road from you. I used to watch you all the time, you and your children." So that was the last time I volunteered anywhere like that. I reported him to the shelter director. He was a registered sex offender, I found out later, and he did live across the road from us at one point. I've never been so creeped out in my life. A few years ago when I was 17, I was at a county fair. It was around 11 at night, and I was standing with my friends talking and eating. To understand what happened next, you have to understand it was very crowded and loud. An older man approached me and told me a lady needed my help, and I moved away from my friends to try to hear what he was saying. We were near one of the exits to the parking lot. The man walked me to the exit, but I wouldn't exit with him. The whole parking lot was dark, packed full of cars, but there were no people out there. He was pointing out in the parking lot and trying to rush me, frantically saying, "She's over there, hurry, she needs your help." I kept asking, "Where? I don't see anyone." I couldn't even see far because all the large trucks and vans blocked the view of the whole lot. The man said, "She's behind that car," and started pulling my arm. I wouldn't let him pull me and said, "No, I can't see anyone." Then he pointed off in an opposite direction of the parking lot and said, "Over there." I looked. The only person I could see off in the distance was someone pushing a big cart with trash bins on it, and I said, "That's someone who works here." Then I walked away from him really fast and went back into the fair. My friends were asking where the heck I went. They didn't even see me leave. When I told them, everyone was tripping out that I almost got kidnapped. It was embarrassing, and I felt really stupid. It's so creepy to imagine what could have happened. I thought that was only something I had to worry about when I was little. I don't want to meet him again, and sometimes I think about anyone else who has met him in similar situations, and it worries me. I was outside my apartment complex with the hood of my boyfriend's car up, trying to top off some fluids. A man approached me and asked me what building is Building D. I told him I didn't really know, but I think it's over that way. He comes back a little later and asks me for a glass of water, but I tell him that I'd have to stop what I'm doing and go to my apartment, which is far away, and he says okay and leaves again. The third time he approaches me and starts asking questions about the car, like what am I doing, is it my car, is it the only car I've driven, etc. I tell him it's my boyfriend's car and make some regular conversation about cars. I don't want to be rude, and he tells me he may need a jump for the truck that he's working on later and asks if I can do that. I tell him sure, which was a lie, but I have to leave at 11 to go to work. Also a lie. I was just trying to get out of there and not have any conflict since I was alone. He asks for my number, or if he should just wait, and I tell him to just wait. He then starts saying that I'm really cute and sexy, and he asks how old I am, and I instinctively respond with my real age, 21. He tells me I have a nice butt, I'm wearing sweatpants that are way too big for me, and a jacket zipped up, not that it should matter, and that's why he came over in the first place. I'm very uncomfortable by now. He got closer to me and put his hand around my waist and touched my butt, and I step away as much as I can. He tells me that he can show me how it's done, if I wanted to repay him in favors. I said no, because duh. Then an older lady got his attention and started talking to him, and they walked away together, and he says, "Excuse us," and I grabbed my stuff from inside of my car and Vegas on a business trip 12 or so years ago. If you've ever stayed on the Strip in Las Vegas, the hotels are huge, hallways are maze-like and long. I am a small lady, 5'2", and I weigh 130 pounds. I was in my early 30s. I left a meeting downstairs and was heading to my room. I pushed my floor when I got on the elevator and got off on my floor. There was a man walking towards me down one of the long halls. We passed each other, then out of the corner of my eye, I see him turn around. I take a right, he takes a right. I go left, he goes left. He's definitely following me. No one is with me on this trip, and I'm staying alone in my room, but he doesn't know that. I pick up my cell phone, gotta love the old flip phones, and I make a fake call. I called the movie line or weather service so someone would be talking, but I could say what I wanted, or needed to say. Loudly I spoke into the phone. "Hi babe, what are you doing?" "Oh, you're back in our room. You finished your workout super early." "Okay, I'm almost to our room, so I'll be right there. Love you." The creepy guy following me turned around and headed the direction we had just come from. I made sure he was extra gone, got into my room as fast as humanly possible, and bolted the door. I never had any more issues, but I learned a new trick. So this happened a couple years ago when I was 13 and my brother was 11. My parents had to go out and thought it would be better to leave me and my brother home alone, so that's what they did. They left, taking my little sister, age 6, with them. Me and my brother were all the way down in our basement, which is where we had our video games set up, so the two of us were just downstairs playing Mario Kart on our Wii. We had the home phone in between us, just in case one of our parents called. About an hour goes by, and the phone starts to ring. We look down, in the caller ID, and it's our uncle. We decided to just let it ring, and how our phone worked, it would ring about 5 times, then stop. 1 ring, 2 ring, 3 ring. The phone stops ringing. My brother doesn't pay attention to it, but I do. I realized that the only reason for it to stop that early is if somebody picked it up, but we were home alone. I got really suspicious, and my paranoia gets the better of me, and I take my brother, and we go upstairs to see that the phone is still there, but there is still a phone on the 3rd floor in my parents' room. So we go towards the stairs, and what we saw chilled us to the bone. A man, late 40s, early 50s, is all I can really tell you, because the second we saw him, me and my brother scream, run out our front door, and go straight to our neighbor's house. We tell them what happened. They proceed to call the cops, and then our parents. They come fast, and I don't know what was wrong with the man, but he never left the house. He just stood there, and the police arrested him. From what I heard, he was placed in a mental hospital, but that's just what I've heard. The story may not be completely, totally crazy compared to others, but I just think what could have happened to me and my brother if my uncle did not decide to call. When I was a young teen, me and my best friend, let's call her Amy, were babysitting my 5-year-old cousin. Here is some context. We live in the country on an SR, so there are no sidewalks and the road is pretty steady with cars a lot of the time. So there is a convenience store / pizza place about a half-mile down the road, and it's the only store for about 15 miles. We decided to walk to the store along the road to get some snacks and pizza. Now I have walked to the store 100 times. We know everyone who lives around us, and they don't mind if we walk in their yard. Some people even have trails there through their yard to make it easier for the kids to walk to each other's houses. So me and Amy put my little cousin in a wagon and started to walk to the store. The walk there was fine, and on the way home it started to get dark, but it does not take long to walk home. About halfway home, an old beaten-down car pulled over on the opposite side of the road that we were on. A clearly drunk man in his 40s with green hair rolled down the window and asked if we knew where the hospital was. I told him not to get there and assumed he would leave. He didn't. He got out of the car and said I was lying. He sprinted towards us at full speed. I told Amy to run, but he was on us so fast we had no time to respond. He grabbed the wagon handle out of Amy's hand and yanked it hard. My cousin went flying back. He then tried to run back to his car with the wagon, with my cousin still in it crying. This all happened in a matter of 2 minutes. I threw myself on top of my cousin in the wagon because I didn't know what else to do. At that point, we were all screaming, and the man that lived at the house we were in front of came outside with a gun. The green-haired man ran back to his car and took off. We called the police, but nothing ever came of it. I don't know what his intentions were, but I'm sure they were